Just when Coronation Street fans thought they couldn't possibly love George Shuttleworth anymore, he steps up to face the ultimate test. Everyone loves a gripping villain, but Theo Silverton has taken things to an entirely different level of sinister. For a whole year, he has trapped Todd Grimshaw in a deeply unhealthy dynamic, using relentless mind games, financial control, and emotional manipulation to completely isolate him from everyone he loves. But Theo made one massive mistake. He drastically underestimated the friendliest undertaker in Manchester. What George does next is an absolute masterstroke that will leave you cheering. Before we dive into the juicy details of tonight's jaw-dropping episode, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to CoronationST Update. It truly helps the channel grow, and it guarantees you will never miss out on the latest rumours, spoilers, and behind-the-scenes tea from the cobbles. We pride ourselves on giving you the most trustworthy updates. So join our community today and turn on those notifications. You know, it is one thing to play the perfect partner in public, but behind closed doors, Theo was slowly reducing Todd to a shadow of his former self. He was masterful at his manipulation, making sure nobody else could see the terrifying reality of their situation. However, there was one man who saw right through that charming facade and caught a glimpse of the dark nature hiding underneath. That man was Todd's friend, mentor, and father figure, Mr. George Shuttleworth. George, alongside Christina Boyd, had a deeply unsettling feeling about the sinister scaffolder right from the very beginning. But the true wake-up call came when George happened to be using the bathroom in the corner shop flat. Through the door, he overheard Theo completely lose his temper, unleashing a terrifying barrage of harsh insults meant to tear Todd down. In that chilling moment, George finally realized exactly how dangerously toxic things had gotten. Springing into action like the absolute legend he is, George immediately rallied Todd's nearest and dearest, bringing Gary Windass, Sarah Platt, and Summer Spellman into the loop to help free their friend from this nightmare. Proving just how incredibly pure his heart is, George even secretly packed Todd an emergency bag filled with essentials, just in case he ever needed to make a sudden escape without any prior notice. Because of this unwavering support, Todd finally found the courage to walk away from Theo for good. Sadly, the unhinged antagonist did not take the rejection well at all. Before Todd could fully break free, Theo lashed out so severely that it landed Todd in the hospital in a highly critical condition. Seeing Todd lying in that hospital bed, battered and utterly emotionally drained, shattered George's heart into a million pieces, and honestly, it broke ours too. Ever since that horrific incident, George has made it his personal mission to ensure Todd has a calm, safe environment to heal. He even came up with the brilliant idea for Todd to jet off to Thailand for a few weeks to forget his ordeal and spend some much-needed quality time with his mum, Eileen, and his brother Jason. It is incredibly heartwarming to see George act so fiercely protective. For instance, when Theo had the absolute audacity to show up on the cobbles, clearly defying the protection order and loitering way too close to Todd's flat, George did not hold back. He marched right up to Theo and delivered a seriously dark warning. He made it crystal clear that if Theo did not leave Todd alone, George would not be held responsible for his own actions. That is not the kind of warning you want to hear from an undertaker, especially when there are rumours of a mysterious figure plotting a permanent end for certain residents on the street, making Theo a potential target of karma himself. But buckle up, because that stern warning is an absolute picnic compared to the dramatic showdown that unfolds in tonight's episode. With his suitcase all packed and ready to go, Todd is looking forward to bidding adieu to Weatherfield for a little while. He truly thinks he is finally safe and on his way to recovery. Unfortunately, he completely misses the shadowy figure lurking on the rooftops. In a terrifying turn of events, Theo breaks into the flat through the bedroom window. Todd is simply trying to tidy up the broken glass when his blood runs entirely cold. He looks up to see a dark figure standing right there in his hallway. It is a chilling reunion that nobody wanted to witness. In a deeply twisted attempt to act casually, Theo pretends to accept that their relationship is truly over. Yet, he completely ignores Todd's personal boundaries, insisting on cooking them one final meal together. And what does he choose to make? Butternut squash risotto. The absolute audacity to try and play house after everything he has put Todd through is literally adding insult to injury. Before the meal prep even begins, Theo's paranoia kicks into overdrive. He starts wildly accusing Todd of running off to Thailand just to find a new partner and move on. The tension in the room is suffocating. Todd is absolutely petrified, constantly scanning the room for an escape route and nervously eyeing a kitchen knife, just in case he needs to defend himself from another attack. Theo, being the hyper-observant manipulator he is, catches Todd looking at the counter, and that is what makes him totally snap. In a fit of sheer aggression, he tears at his own shirt, dangerously corners Todd, and actually dares him to make a move. Just as it starts to feel like all hope is lost and Todd has nowhere left to run, the hero of the hour bursts through the door. George arrives right in the nick of time to intervene. But instead of backing down, Theo gets even more agitated by George's sudden presence. He orders both of them to sit down and grabs a heavy marble pot, threatening to do unthinkable harm to them both if they try to leave. It is an incredibly tense standoff. George tries his absolute best to talk the dangerously unstable man down, promising they can all just walk away and forget this happened. Theo, however, refuses to believe that the authorities won't be called, and his response is to angrily strike George. This is the breaking point. Seeing the closest thing he has to a father get hurt prompts Todd to finally step up, and it is endlessly satisfying to watch him stand his ground against his bully in defense of his chosen family. This is exactly when Gorgeous George pulls off an absolute masterstroke of genius. He suddenly grabs his leg, groaning in sheer agony, pretending to be overcome by a severe cramp. It is a classic distraction technique, and it only tricks Theo for a split second. But a split second is all George needs. Surging forward, George fulfills the ultimate fantasy of every single Coronation Street fan who has watched this grueling storyline unfold over the past year. He delivers a swift, deeply satisfying strike right to Theo's angry face. Working as a dynamic duo, George and Todd manage to overpower him, shoving Theo straight into the bathroom. They slam the door, lock it, and tie the handle securely to ensure the raging narcissist cannot escape to cause any more chaos. It is a massive victory, and you absolutely cannot help but cheer for them. But of course, in the dramatic world of Weatherfield, nothing is ever tied up quite that neatly. Sadly, Theo does not stay locked in that bathroom forever. By the time George and Todd manage to get hold of Kit Green to call for official backup and head back into the main room, they realize the worst has happened. Theo is completely gone. Thinking the danger has passed for the night, George sensibly bundles Todd into a taxi headed straight for the airport, wanting to get him as far away from the cobbles as humanly possible. But just as the cab is about to pull away, Todd makes a frustrating discovery. He has left his phone behind. Believing the coast is clear, he steps out of the taxi and walks back toward the flat to grab his belongings. As he turns the corner, his heart drops into his stomach. Standing right there in the shadows, holding Todd's missing phone, is Theo. And judging by the sinister look in his eyes, he is absolutely not about to let Todd walk away easily. The sheer suspense of this storyline is incredible, and the fallout from this terrifying encounter is going to send massive shockwaves through the street. What is Theo's final move? How will George react when he realizes Todd never actually made it to the airport? We will be covering every single detail, theory, and spoiler as this explosive drama continues to unravel, so keep it locked right here.